National Bureau of Standard here at the Sophia Exhibition Center, and we're talking all about the National Quality Week here. And this time we're taking a trek to the different departments here at the Guyana National Bureau of Standard. And this time we're stopping at the standardization department. And we have a young lady here who's going to tell us all about standardization and the role standardization play at the Guyana National Bureau of Standard.
Thank you for having me. I'm Selena Arjun. I'm a Technical Officer 1 within the Standardization Department of the Gnbs.
So Selena, tell us all about what are standards. Let's start with that.
So standards is a document. Basically, it provides specification rules or guidelines for a particular product or service operational process.
And tell us why would we want to develop standards?
We develop standards to meet stakeholders' needs. It's just a common language to ensure a common output for any product or services.
And how is that useful? So how is that document useful to a particular business?
Once implemented correctly, standards can increase customer satisfaction in your product. It can increase sales.
Great, sounds good. So accessing these standards, how do one really access it? Do they come into the Guyana National Bureau Standard? Can they access it on maybe the website? How can one access?
Yes, you can physically access it at our office, or you can access it. We have a standards portal. You access it by typing in genbsgy.org at any of the search engines. You click on the Gnbs homepage, you go to the standardization tab, you select standards portal, and you start your journey with exploring the over 600 standards we have here at the Gnbs.
I know you've been outlining what is the standard, what are the importance of it, how useful it can be in a business. Tell us, and what are some of the things that you would see, like some of the guidelines you would see in this particular document? Okay. In particular for like a business, let's say plant and chip, or maybe coconut oil.
All right, so for plant and chip or coconut oil, we do have standards for that, actually. The original standards, but it's adopted by the Gnbs. So you can have specification, requirement, or test methods for that particular thing. You can see how the plant and chip should be made, what are the final products, or you can have test methods to evaluate or measure what should be characteristics of that plant and chip or coconut oil.
Tell us all about the metrology department and what is the role of the metrology department?
Actually, it's industrial metrology and testing department. We're responsible for calibration and testing for reference standards. Calibration actually is the measurement between a known and unknown standard.
And what kind of instruments, what sort of instruments do we use to calibrate?
Actually, we do calibration in 10 different areas. Just to name a few, thermometry, mass, comparators, or electronic balances, pressure gauges, torque wrenches, just to name a few. And in testing, we have 3 different areas, hollow blocks, crude oil, and gold articles.
And let me ask, why is measurement so important in terms of business and standardization and so forth?
Actually, measurements is very important. You want people to get satisfaction for their money, and you want people to get the right measurements. So that's why you need to have those things calibrated. Also, in the medical field, you wouldn't like for a doctor to diagnose a wrong diagnosis because the thermometer is not reading correctly. So you need to have those calibrated.
And how can the metrology department be contacted?
Via email, Gnbs website, or you could just step right in and bring your stuff in, and have them calibrated.
Alrighty, Franklin, I want to say thanks for stopping by and sharing that tidbit with our listeners. And I'm sure a lot of people would find that useful in terms of the measurement and so forth, and how they can apply it. Our product compliance department, I'm sure a lot of us are going to want to hear all about product compliances, particularly for persons who are doing that kind of small business and so forth. This time I'm going to be chatting with Lorenzo Gill. Mr. Gill, good morning, sir.
Good morning, good morning.
Well, I'm from the Product Compliance Service Department, and the Product Compliance Service Department, we basically monitor approximately 17 categories of products to ensure that these products comply with the national standard. We basically check the labeling aspect of these products. Importers of these products are required to be registered with the GNBS annually. Also, dealers of cell phones, electrical fittings and equipment, furniture, they're required to be registered with the GNBS, and we monitor these dealers to ensure that the products that they're offering for sale complies with the requirements of the national standard. And this is to ensure that customers receive quality products, right? When we check the cell phone dealers and the outlets, is to ensure that the outlets, the condition is you know, it's safe, and the products are being kept in a certain condition not to compromise the quality of it.
Mr. Gill, thanks for sharing that piece of tidbit there. How can the Product Compliance Department be contacted?
Okay, one can contact the Product Compliance Department through the telephone line 219-0065 and the GNBS website, that's gnbsgy.org, and we are willing to share whatever information the consumer or the importer or dealer is looking for.
Alrighty then, you have it there. This time, guys, we're moving along, and this time we're going to be chatting with the Business Development Department. And this time I have the pleasure of speaking Mr. Bacchus. Tell us all about the Business Development Department.
Alright, so the Business Development Department, we are basically responsible for taking businesses to the next level. That is basically what we stand for. Now, in this department, we provide two different services, which is basically trainings and technical assistance. Now, the trainings that we provide, they're all based on standards, I will say. Now, we work with international standards as well as local standards to help persons to more so get an understanding of what the requirements of these standards are, so that they can not only gain the knowledge, but they can implement those requirements within their operations. And that's when our other service comes into play, which is technical assistance, which deals specifically with helping companies to build that system, implement it, and of course we teach them how to maintain that within their operations as well.
And what are some of the aspects of training that you guys offer here in terms of taking business to the next level and tier?
So in terms of the trainings that we provide, we basically help persons to understand the requirements of the systems. We help them to be able to understand how to manage a system, which means internal auditing, of course. We provide the training for that. And when it comes to some of these standards, they require you to document and implement it. So we teach them how to do that effectively so that they are able to maintain the requirements of the standards, conform to the requirements more so, and be able to maintain their certifications if they pursue that, of course.
So in terms of the training in terms of the period, is it a set time frame, or it depends?
So usually what we do is that we publish our schedule of trainings at the beginning of the year. So we have trainings that are scheduled for particular times. However, trainings can definitely be requested, and then we will make sure that we can cater to the needs of that request, of course. Trainings, the duration is usually about 3 days on average. We have some for shorter periods, a few of them that takes about 5 days, but that's basically it.
And upon completion of training, is there like a certification being given to that particular individual or company?
Yes, so at the end of every training, every participant, providing that they pass at least 75% pass mark, they're able to get a certificate of successful completion. But we still, even though some of them may not meet that requirement, they still are able to get their certificates to show that they attended that training and they have an idea about what it was that was taught.
So if somebody is listening now, and they want to say, you know what, I think that I want to contact the National Bureau of Standards, the Business Development Department, to inquire more about these training services that are offered, will the National Bureau of Standards facilitate that kind of training as well?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the things we do is that we're responsible for stakeholder engagement. So anybody that would just like to know a little bit more about the trainings as well as any other service that we provide, they can always reach out to us. For the trainings in particular, they can reach out directly to the Business Development Department, who organizes all of that, and we'll be able to take it from there.
Well, not already. Quite a bit of information dispensed there. I want to say thanks, Mr. Bacchus, for stopping by and sharing that little tidbit to our listeners and how we can better grow as one Guyana. Yeah, So guys, listeners, I'm tracking through and I'm seeing here at the Savaya Exhibition Center, it's growing. The persons that are visiting, growing. There are school children here. There are also business persons who are coming to see all about the standards and all that the Guyana National Bureau of Standards are hosting for the National Quality Week. This time I'm stopping by the Legal Metrology Department, and I have the pleasure of speaking with Kimo.
Five.
Good morning to you, Mr. Fife.
Hi, good morning to you.
Tell us about the Legal Metrology Department.
All right, the Legal Metrology Department is the arm of the Bureau that actually ensures that all weighing and measuring devices used in trade and commerce are verified yearly or twice yearly.
All right. So, tell me about the verification and staff and the experience and your experience here thus far.
Okay. All right. When I say verification of devices, I can actually branch off into the type of devices that we verify. We do verifications of electricity meters, moisture meters. We do scales that you see in the marketplaces. The weighing bridge scales, which are the big scales that you will see at like the Harbor Bridge, and probably like the places that weigh cement and stones and these sort of things. We also do verification of tanker wagons, verification of petrol pumps, because a lot of times people go to the gas station. We ensure that those meters used there, or we call them pumps, are verified, and the verification are done twice yearly for all the items that I mentioned.
So, and in addition to that, why do you guys offer these services?
Well, our department is a little different from the other departments, and what I can say is that we stand between the consumer and the person that actually offer the service, right? So a lot of times we try to ensure equity in trade. We try to ensure fairness and balance, and you will know from time to time we try to make it a must that people get value for money. You don't want at no point in time you be at the petrol station and you purchase, we purchase gas in money value. You see, we want a $5,000 worth in gasoline, and in actual fact, if you're supposed to, for example, get 20 liters, you end up with probably 19.5 liters. So we check these pumps yearly, twice yearly, and our verification period is from January to June and July to December, to ensure that the pumps that we check work accurately and it's within the acceptable range, or we call the MP. So when we check the pumps, you can be assured that when you go to purchase, you get value for your money. Same thing we do with the scales, because people buy cement, stone, well, not really cement, but stone and sand, and you buy it by weight. Anything you purchase by weight, we want to ensure that you get value for your money. When you go to the marketplace, same thing. You go to buy a kilogram of potatoes, a kilogram of rice, 2 kgs, whatever it is. We want to know when you leave, you're confident that what you purchase is what you take home, and you are not being duped in no way or form.
Already then. So if in the event a consumer think, you know what, they might have been dealt a raw deal, how do they contact the Legal Metrology Department? And in terms of maybe follow up and say, you know what, I went so, but I think so. Give me some more information. So how do they contact the Legal Metrology Department?
Well, our line that we use is 219-006529. You can call and ask for the Legal Metrology Department. We also take complaints that relates to weight. So if you have probably a weight dispute or something along that line, we can actually look into it. Or you can actually visit our website for more information.
Alrighty then, wish you the best of the day and success in this event that is happening. Moving along, listeners, guys. I'm telling you, so much things that are happening here, and quite a bit of information dispense material that are available, so that you can pick up, read up on, check through, see some of the things that I'm pretty much sure that you'll be happy to know about. This time I'm moving through, I'm stopping at the Certification Service Department. Good morning to you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rosemary Lilia, and I'm a Technical Officer 1 within the Certification Services Department. Now, in the Certification Services Department, we are responsible for conducting 4 core processes. The first one being is laboratory certification. So we are responsible for certifying both testing and medical laboratories to our national standard, which is the GYS 170 standard, which is the general requirements for the operation of a laboratory. Secondly, we also offer internal auditing services to organizations that are certified to international standards. For example, companies that are certified to ISO 9001, ISO 22000, 45001, and 14001. Thirdly, we operate a product certification scheme whereby manufacturers are allowed to use our national standards mark on their products. Currently, we have on our certification scheme, we certify gold articles, which also we know as gold jewelries, hollow blocks, PVC pipes, and FiberTech products. Lastly, we also operate a Made in Guyana Standards Mark program, which allows local manufacturers and local businesses to use this mark on their product. Now you may ask, how is this beneficial to these stakeholders? Well, being able to use these marks on your product, it recognizes your product on a national and an international scale. Additionally, it promotes national competitiveness, and also it ensures consumer confidence in the products and services that are being provided by these persons. So thank you very much for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Oh, but just before you go, in terms of the certification process and the Made in Guyana mark, how has that response been for you guys in terms of people coming in to do that?
So we would have had a lot of applicants on who we've been working with on a regular basis. These persons, this would have allowed their products to be marketed, and like I said, it has been recognized on not just a national scale but also on an international level. Of course, they have to meet several criteria before they are granted the permission to use this mark. And we do not just give them this mark, we also monitor them. So within the certification period is valid for 1 year, and within that 1 year we monitor them, we do surveillance audits to ensure that they're continuing to meet the requirements set out to use the mark.
Already, thank you. So guys, we wanna urge you, you heard it there, we wanna urge you to come on down to Guyana National Bureau Standard, check out about your services and maybe your production that you're having, and maybe get that certification mark, that Made in Guyana certification mark. But you know, Guyana is pegged as one of the fastest growing economies, and one of the things coming along with that is that oil and gas. And I'm going to be stopping at the Oil and Gas Department to have a little chit chat with Alwyn Etwa, and he's going to tell us all about the oil and gas and the role of the Oil and Gas Department here at the Guyana National Bureau of Standards. Mr. Etwa, good morning to you, sir.
Hi, good morning. I'm Mr. Etwa, Senior Inspector within the Oil and Gas Department. The role of the Oil and Gas Department, basically our role is to ensure that the custody transfer process is done on the FPSO in accordance with international standards. When I mean custody transfer, I'm talking about the offloading of the crude oil from the FPSO to the fuel tanker when it's being sold.
I want to ask you a question. I mean, a lot of persons have been hearing this in the news, have been seeing this in the newsprints, floating production, storage and offloading vessel. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay, well, the FPSO is basically a vessel that is used to produce the crude oil, bring it up from the seabed, then it separates the gases, it separates the water and stuff, and then it stores it. Then when it's ready to sell, then it offloads to any tanker that it comes to receive the shipment.
So in terms of that, are there any inspection and offices offshore?
Yes, currently we have 2 officers that are offshore. We usually be there every time, as I mentioned before, every time there is a custody transfer or the transfer of the crude from the FPSO to the tanker, to the fuel tanker. Basically, when we're doing checks, what we check for is that we do what is called tank gauging, where we check to see what is in the tanks, right? Then we check to ensure that the meters that are using to do offloading is verified in accordance with international standards. We take manual samples. We witness the lab analysis, because the lab analysis is key in terms of the quality of the crude that is being shipped from Guyana.
And if I may ask, what are the training that are required for the offshore inspectors and so forth?
Well, we do two types of training. We have a technical training, which is a measurement training, where we have a system in place with the University of Texas, where we will get a measurement training designed specifically for our GNBS officers. Then there's a safety training where we have to do two safety training, which is helicopter underwater escape training, and we have to do a compressed breathing system training as well.
Mr. Edward, I want to say thanks for stopping by, sharing all the expertise and so much that is happening here at the Guyana National Bureau of Standards for the quality TV. Guys, you've heard it so much. There's so much that's happening here. I want to urge you guys to come down at the Guyana National Bureau of Standards and see all that is happening. And I'm telling you guys, you would be amazed to know some of the things that are happening. And also, it is going to give you a few tidbits and tricks in your back pocket, how to operate your business, how to grow your business exponentially. So we're gonna before we wrap up, we're going to have a little chit chat with the Corporate Communication Officer, Mr. Davis, and Communication Officer, Miss Vivi.
Yes, thank you for having us back. And in addition to the departments, the technical departments that you've talked to, we also have, of course, our administrative department that keeps the ball rolling. We have human resources, accounts, and our communications department, marketing that posts everything on Facebook for you to see and like and subscribe and share, and our Instagram and YouTube pages. But thank you very much for visiting this open day. I'm sure that our listeners would have learned a lot from all of the services that we offer in standards and measurement. And of course, I have Lloyd with me that can share more of his thoughts.
Yes, certainly. We are so happy to have 98.1 here at the Guyana National Bureau of Standards. It has enhanced our experience today, certainly, and we are happy about that. So you had the opportunity to hear from all of our technical officers, those who do the different functions. I hope that the public has a better knowledge of what the GMBS does. I know from time to time we do various radio programs, television programs, we post on social media and all of that, but certainly we are happy that we can actually get the radio with us for all this time to share what we are doing here at the GMBS. The Open Day is going very fine. We have a number of technical institutes here with us. The children are coming and going. They're learning so much. You can see the enthusiasm on their faces as they are told about tires and electrical items and the quality of those, and how we check those, and so many things happen there. Even our legal metrology, we're getting to see the different types of scales, the masses, and all of that. And of course, our standards, they're getting to appreciate, standards are actually documents, and they contain requirements and specifications. So when we say, you don't have no standard or all of that, it's actually requirements, specifications, and all of that. So, and those give guidance to how we do things. I mentioned this earlier, how we do things, how we make products, the processes that we need to follow, and all of that. So the GNBS is here. We are working previously. We are aiming to be the premier national institution for standards and quality. That's our vision. And of course, our mission is to implement the national quality infrastructure. We want to have a framework of quality in Guyana, and we cannot do this by ourselves. We need to collaborate with stakeholders including manufacturers, the consumers, so many persons, even the media. We need to get information out there, so we need to collaborate with you guys to get all of that out, so that we can have a strong quality infrastructure, so that when persons go to the marketplaces and they buy the products, they have the confidence that the shoes will not fall apart when I wear it, or this tire will not blow out when I drive my car. All these things are addressed because we have a proper quality infrastructure in place. And almost all the services that the GMBS offer is based on that quality infrastructure. You heard about standards, it is part of the quality infrastructure. You heard about metrology, which is measurement, it's a part of the quality infrastructure. You heard about certification, it's a part of the quality infrastructure. So almost everything that we do here at the GMBS, working with businesses to implement the standards, are also is conformity assessment, and it's also part of the quality infrastructure. And I think somebody probably mentioned testing. Testing is critical in everything because testing allows us to know the quality of what prevails, what exists, so that we can improve it or maintain it. So certainly this is what the GNBS is all about, and I'm so delighted to be working here at the GNBS so that I can be able to share this information with the members of the public. Lastly, I need to mention also, this is the second to last day of our National Quality Week events. Tomorrow, it's more like of an internal kind of thing. We dealt all week with the public. We go here, there, and everywhere, and we did so much for the public. So tomorrow, it's a time for ourselves. We'll be having like a mini retreat. We're going to be spending time in eating and interacting and getting to know each other because it's 130 plus of us. So and many of us, we work in so many sections as you listen to the different departments, we need to get to know each other across the organization. So that is what tomorrow's exercise is all about. And besides that, our human resources department will be rewarding persons for working with the GNBS for an extensive period. Those who come early, they're punctual, all of that, they'll get rewards for that. So you're an exciting team.
Mr. Davis, I want to say thanks to you and your entire team for taking time off of your busy schedule. I know a week of event to put on an event like this magnitude is not an easy feat. So we want to say thanks to you for taking time off to share all that has been planned and scheduled and carted to our listeners so kind of can be up to par with what's happening. And last but not least, guys, I'm going to pass you over to control. Enjoy your day.